And during the few moments that we have left, we want to have just an off-the-cuff chat between you and me, us. We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand. We all agree tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is us. We're her problem. The only reason she has a problem is she doesn't want us here. And every time you look at yourself, be you black, brown, red, or yellow, a so-called Negro, you represent a person who poses such a serious problem for America because you're not wanted. Once you face this as a fact, then you can start plotting a course that will make you appear intelligent instead of unintelligent. What you and I need to do is learn to forget our differences. When we come together, we don't come together as Baptists or Methodists. You don't catch hell because you're a Baptist, and you don't catch hell because you're a Methodist. You don't catch hell because you're a Methodist or a Baptist. You don't catch hell because you're a Democrat or a Republican. You don't catch hell because you're a Mason or an Elk. And you sure don't catch hell because you're an American, because if you was an American, you wouldn't catch no hell. You catch hell because you're a black man. You catch hell, all of us catch hell for the same reason. So we are all black people, so-called Negroes, second-class citizens, ex-slaves. You are nothing but an ex-slave. You don't like to be told that. But what else are you? You are ex-slave. You didn't come here on the Mayflower. You came here in a slave ship, in chains, like a horse or a cow or a chicken. And you were brought here by the people who came here on the Mayflower. You were brought here by the so-called pilgrims or founding fathers. They were the ones who brought you here. We have a common enemy. We have this in common. We have a common oppressor, a common exploiter, and a common discriminator. So once we all realize that we have this common enemy, then we unite on the basis of what we have in common. And what we have foremost in common is that enemy, the white man. He's an enemy to all of us. I know some of you all think that some of them aren't enemies. Time will tell. In Bandung, back in, I think, 1954, was the first unity meeting in centuries of black people. And once you study what happened at the Bandung Conference and the results of the Bandung Conference, it actually serves as a model for the same procedure you and I can use to get our problems solved. At Bandung, all the nations came together. They were dark nations from Africa and Asia. Some of them were Buddhists. Some of them were Muslim. Some of them were Christian. Some of them were Confucianists. Some were atheists. Despite their religious differences, they came together. Some were communists. Some were socialists. Some were capitalists. Despite their economic and political differences, they came together. All of them were black, brown, red, or yellow. The number one thing that was not allowed to attend the Bandung Conference was the white man. He couldn't come. Once they excluded the white man, they found that they could get together. Once they kept him out, everybody else fell right in and fell in line. This is the thing that you and I have to understand. And these people who came together didn't have nuclear weapons. They didn't have jet planes. They didn't have all of the heavy armaments that the white man has, but they had unity. They were able to submerge their little petty differences and agree on one thing, that though one African came from Kenya and was being colonized by the Englishmen, and another African came from the Congo and was being colonized by the Belgian, and another African came from Guinea and was being colonized by the French, and another came from Angola and was being colonized by the Portuguese. When they came to the Bandung Conference, They looked at the Portuguese and at the Frenchman and at the Englishman and at the other Dutchman and learn or realize that the one thing that all of them had in common, they were all from Europe. They were all Europeans, blonde, blue-eyed, and white-skinned. They began to recognize who their enemy was. The same man that was colonizing our people in Kenya was colonizing our people in the Congo. The same one in the Congo was colonizing our people in South Africa and in southern Rhodesia and in Burma and in India and in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. They realized all over the world where a dark man was being oppressed, he was being oppressed by the white man. Where the dark man was being exploited, he was being exploited by the white man. So they got together under this basis that they had a common enemy. And when you and I here in Detroit and in Michigan and in America, who have been awakened today, look around us, we too realize here in America, we all have a common enemy. Whether he's in Georgia or Michigan, whether he's in California or New York, he's the same man. Blue eyes and blonde hair and pale skin. Same man. So what we have to do is what they did. They agreed to stop quarreling among themselves. Any little spat that they had, they'd settle it among themselves. Go into a huddle. Don't let the enemy know that you got a disagreement. Instead of us airing our differences in public, we have to realize we're all the same family. And when you have a family squabble, you don't get out on the sidewalk. If you do, everybody calls you uncouth, unrefined, uncivilized, savage. If you don't make it at home, you settle it at home. You get in the closet, argue it out behind closed doors. And then when you come out on the street, you pose a common front, a united front. And this is what we need to do in the community and in the city and in the state. We need to stop airing our differences in front of the white man. Put the white man out of our meeting, number one, and then sit down and talk shop with each other. That's all you got to do.
What is good, my people? We are live, back again with another live show on the forecast. What's going on, Libera, and everybody else that's in here? And I hope you are listening to the words of Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Of course we're gonna have differences, but when it comes down to it, we all in the same boat, and we need to put our petty differences. They put their religion aside, they put their ideology aside, they put their all of their beliefs to the side. What's up, Bakari? So and when they came out in the streets, they had a front. You know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all listening to words from Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? They didn't they disagreed in private. And Bakari, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat. You still want to do some Black History stuff before you come on? I ain't have time to get no Black History stuff, but so yeah, Bakari, you can come on if you want to talk about some Black History stuff. And then first I'm gonna do an update after that about a case that we talked about earlier. We ain't really get a chance to really go in on that case anyway because of everything that happened on that show. But so I want to do an update, but then I do want to have this conversation about capitalism versus socialism, because this seemed to be a topic that a lot of people that are talking about, and everybody has their own ideas. And I don't want it to be a long show because I know I'm already late, but if y'all want to come on and say your opinions about that when we get to it, what I'm saying, you can come on real quick, just don't be too long or whatever. But yeah, But yeah, first we going first. Hold on, hey, Bakari is not connected. But yeah, first we gonna probably try to get into some Black history stuff. What's going on, Bakari? Antoine DeMello.
What's going on, man?
I don't know if you need to greet with fire or not tonight. We'll see. Well, yeah, what's going on, my brother? You could go ahead and introduce yourself. I mean, not like you need to, but
I'm good. What's going on, man? What's up, Light Bearer? This is Picard. Antoine de Mela, he who greet was 5. BKA. I'm your good brother, Picard. Come on, man. You know what? I forgot to go pull him up, man. So I'm gonna do my Black History beginning on another one.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot to pull up the person that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You know what? We need to start having like a segment or something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should be at the beginning because we never know how the show is gonna go. But yeah, maybe we definitely need to have a segment just for that. At the beginning of the shows and stuff like that. But yeah, so yo, I do want to before we get into the conversation, so we don't be here all night. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Bakar, you remember that story I did about Peter Spencer, the Jamaican brother who got killed on and we didn't really get all the way into that story because of what happened on that show. But I don't know if a lot of y'all knew what on that story about what happened, but this Jamaican brother went on a hunting trip with his white buddies, one of his white co-workers. And next thing you know, he ended up dead, and of course they tried to say it was self-defense, even though he got shot so many times. And the only reason I wanted to bring this up because it was another update in the case, and they finally released one of the white boys' names, even though he was with a group of them. And it's definitely a lesson in this stuff. So I'm gonna share this one real quick, because so we can get into the real topic. But I do want to share this real quick.
Co-workers.
You would never expect him to be murdered.
Co-workers.
You would never expect him to be murdered.
And he didn't make it out alive. His family now calling his death a modern-day lynching. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Who's a Jamaican immigrant. On December 12, 2021, Peter Spencer, who's a Jamaican immigrant but called Pittsburgh home, he was invited to a white co-worker's hunting cabin in Venango County, Pennsylvania. It's some 85 miles outside of Pittsburgh. His fiancée, Carmela King, says she dropped him off, and then she started to get suspicious when his text messages started slowing down. Then he stopped responding altogether.
He texted me, hey, I'm just going to stay the night. And then he texted me and said, just come in the morning. And I was like, okay.
King then texted him, I love you.
And then I didn't hear from him for the rest of, I never heard back from him.
She got in her car the next morning.
I just had a hunch to drive up there. And I drove up there. And a few moments before I got onto the road, mom called and said he'd been shot.
He'd been shot 9 times. The autopsy's so graphic that we have to blur them. According to the coroner, Spencer was shot once in the mouth, twice in the buttocks, and 6 times in the abdomen or chest. His dead body laid out on the front yard when his fiancée arrived. And on the property, signs that read, quote, warning, we don't call 911, with a gun pictured. Another sign that says, quote, you're on camera, look up. A surveillance camera seen from an upstairs window. Pennsylvania State Police Corporal Aaron Allen could not comment on whether video evidence has been collected, but he does say that he was called to oversee this case. He's with the Heritage Affairs Department. He handles hate crimes and bias-related incidents for state police in the Pittsburgh region.
People are frustrated. So what do we know? What do you know about this?
Sure, we know that the incident happened, and there have been a slew of things that have been under investigation. Our criminal investigation unit has been working tirelessly for this investigation, making sure the proper things are being done.
What was the communication like with police thereafter?
It was slim to none. That it was just self-defense. They just said, oh, it was a gathering here. And they said he was the aggressor. And they felt frightened and somebody shot him.
What is this coworker? Have you met this coworker before? Where did they work?
Yeah, I met him several times. He's come down to Peter's house. Peter cooks Jamaican food every Friday, so he would come down and get food off of him.
Sources have identified the coworker as a Nathan Myers, whose family owns the property. A reporter from the local news affiliate.
All right, so Nathan Myers is his name. And yeah, I'm not sure if y'all saw that story. Yo, what's going on, Raw? But yeah, I'm not sure if y'all saw that story, but that was his fiance right there, Bakari. So, she was his sister, and apparently there was a camera right there that caught the whole thing. Now they not trying to be like, oh yeah, we got the video and all of that stuff, but it was a camera that showed the whole thing, and they left his body laying right out there in the front yard, and everybody acting like they ain't see nothing, but the camera shows right there all the way to across the street to supposedly where he got shot at. So it's crazy that his body was right there in front of a house, and they claim self-defense or something like that. And of course, they ain't charged nobody. But yeah, Bakar, you want to talk on that one?
Short-term memory. That's what we have. Short-term memory. We forget about everything that we have gone through with other people. We forget about not even ancient history, this recent history. A few years back, those bastards need to be hung. They need to be shot. They need to be left just like that in the streets. That's how they need to be left. No if, no ands, no buts. That's what should be done to them. And like I always say, it's what are we gonna do? It's time for us to start making moves when it comes to this. It's only so much I can say on YouTube about that, but I can say this. It's time to get suited and booted. It's time for us to be together. It's not okay for people to constantly kill us and we forgive. That is not okay. That's absolutely not okay. They teach drug addicts people, places, and things. Maybe that's what they need to start teaching us, the ones that are not drug addicts, people, places, and things. The people you're around, the places you go, and the things they have. People, places, and things. Because if he understood the situation, the people, if he understood the place where they was going, hunting, he's the only black person, and the things, guns, and bullets. Once we start understanding those things, there's going to be situations I think we won't have. But I'm going to say it like this, and I say it again. It's time to get suited and booted. And I just leave it at that. I yield the mic.
Yeah, Bakari. And like you and Lightbearer saying, we gotta recognize who our friends is, and we have no friends, Like Bakari, you be mentioning the brother who said it. If you don't see a friend when you look in the mirror, then you in trouble, You have
Dr.
no
John
friends.
Henry Clark.
Right, yeah, John Henry Clark, yeah. And that's the thing, this brother, and I can't put it on him, but we have this difference, like, we'll separate ourselves based off of where we come from, our ideologies and all of this kind of stuff, but the world does not see us as that. The world doesn't care about none of that. And we try to befriend everybody and act like it's not what it is, and if we can just show everybody that we're human, maybe they'll be my friend and they can accept me. Maybe I'll go hunting with them and it'll be cool. And like during the original story, like that sister who was on there, she was like, yeah, I was kind of uneasy about the whole thing. And I mean, truth be told, I don't even have no white friends like that where I would be going hunting or nothing like that. So like, and I already was like, man, that's shaky if they ask me, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even have none. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we gotta understand, in the society, we are all we got. And I know we try to escape it, you know what I'm saying? I know we don't want to be um we don't want to be the victims or the targets or nothing like that, but we are, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And this why it's important for us to have the conversation that we also have, you know what I'm saying, how to build a society designed to protect us, because a part of culture is something designed to protect you. It's not like just playing basketball, it's not just rapping and singing. It's a culture is something that's designed to protect you, and that's why I want to definitely get into the conversation we was about to have. So, Bakar, you want to say anything else on that or anything else before we get into it?
Nope, I'm gonna just let you. We about to get into the topic, so I'm gonna just let us ride to the topic.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, and if anybody got anything to say about this topic, because I know a lot of people got their opinions, and we ain't gonna be on. So, try to we're gonna try to make it quick. You know what I'm saying, so it don't get dragged out. Let me put the link in the chat real quick. All right. First of all, like, I've seen this theory, like a lot of black people, even going back to the civil rights stuff, and it's kind of akin to the power to all the people, even though it's two different subjects. But a lot of people say, capitalism is the cause of destruction, is lead can only lead to corruption, you understand? But I mean, we're gonna get into that whole topic, you know what I'm saying? And I put capitalism versus socialism, and you could talk about communism if that's what you want to talk about. But I don't put that because, number one, let me say this first before we even get to it. Like, a lot of black people just blindly rep somebody else, and it's weird because we don't even say that we black. But if you be like, you're a Marxist, you'll be like, yeah, I'm a Marxist, you know what I'm saying? But you don't even realize how racism, oh yeah, like, bro, you can come on and talk about that. Well, you don't even realize how racist this dude, Karl Marx, was. And in his society, you would be at the bottom, if at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to show people something real quick about this dude, Karl Marx, before black people be quick to identify as somebody else that don't look like him. Because it's kind of weird, even when we militant, they try to say Hitler, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop trying to compare us to white people and what they do. So let me show this video.
The races, too weak to master the new conditions of life, must give way. They must perish in the revolutionary Holocaust. Karl Marx.
Marx began it. He was the ancestor of modern political genocide. And I don't know that any European thinker of the modern period before Marx and Engels ever publicly advocated racial extermination. I can't find anything earlier, so I presume it starts with them.
All right, so he says style racial extermination.
So what he did,
and by the way, he was over in Germany or whatever during the time where they was having all this scientific racist theories coming out, So
he kind of went through all of Marx and Engels' letters to each other. And what he found is all these offensive beliefs that were held by Karl Marx and Engels. Chapter 7, page 71, Karl Marx on the Negro. Marx and Engels are customarily depicted as admirers of Abraham Lincoln, resolute foes of chattel slavery, and courageous champions of Negro rights, Negro equality, and Negro freedom. There is scarcely an iota of truth to this interpretation. Publicly and for political reasons, both Marx and Engels posed as friends of the Negro. In private, they were anti-black racists of the most odious sort. They had contempt for the entire Negro race, a contempt they express by comparing Negroes to animals, by identifying black people with idiots, and by continuously using the appropriate term again in their private correspondence. Since they wrote to each other in German, this meant inserting the offensive English word instead of using the correct German word. Again, since neither revolutionary theorists had much interest in the Negro, and still less in the fate of Africa south of the Sahara, the quest for Marx and Engels' true views on the Negro has required a diligent and prolonged search. It has been rewarded, if that is the correct word, by some revealing expressions of gutter race hatred of the lowest sort. Marx wrote Engels on July 30th, 1862, that the Jewish Jurgen Lassalle was fortunately leaving London towards the end of the week for his native Germany, adding, "It is now absolutely clear to me, as both the shape of his head and his hair texture shows, he descends from the Negroes who joined Moses' flight from Egypt, unless his mother or grandmother on the paternal side hybridized with an Urget." Now, the combination of Germanness and Jewishness with a primarily Negro substance necessarily creates a strange product. The pushiness of the fellow is also like. Wait, they never bring this up in the socialist meeting? If you're a little bit confused by what's just happening there, Marx has his own theory about black Egyptians and black Jews because apparently he thinks there was some race mixing going on in Egypt when the fucking Jews were making their exodus. So he looks at other Jews and by their appearance, he makes a determination about their purity as a fucking Jew. And of course, this is on the basis of them having the possibility of inferior nigger blood from Africa.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna just show this real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of this. We gonna get into it. But yeah, I ain't showed. I'm just showing this because there's a lot of information on it because like their letters was so long, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of um racist. He a racist, and he often called black people that the N word. But yeah, he was a racist or whatever. And I'm gonna skip down because they be talking about Jewish racism and everybody else except for like black people. But you know, of course, it ain't coming up now. But let me skip to that. All right. He said, but if George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Roosevelt must fall, why not the fathers of communism, Karl Marx and Frederick Engels? Um, he was like, their private correspondence demonstrated an even larger degree of hostility towards black-skinned people as their writings were littered with racial slurs. In 1887, Engels wrote that blacks were closer to the animal kingdom than the rest of humanity in a reference to his mixed race son-in-law, his own son-in-law, you know. So, and you know, he said, you know, what he just said about the Jewish people, they messed up because they breeded with black people, you know what I'm saying? And you know, like it goes on and on, but they mostly try to focus on like the Jewish people. He also said that you know, Mexicans were lazy, that's why they got colonized, and he agreed with class and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, Bakar, you got something to say on that one?
Uh, he is what I thought he was. He was what I thought he was. But you're right. We always cape for other people in their systems. Anything that someone else has created, we're good with that. They're okay with being. And by the way, before I finish, peace to everybody in the chat for coming through again. Sister Raw, Demarcus Garon, Forecast, Light Bear, everybody in the chat. If I didn't say your name, blame it on my heart, not my brain. I'm sorry, blame it on my brain, not my heart. I apologize, I said it wrong. But
We, socialism, capitalism breeds, I've heard people say when we talk about that, because Marxism was something like that's long, like, I don't remember exactly what Marxism is, but it's close to like communism or socialism, I think, if I remember correctly. But we always caping for other people. But when I say Garveyism, because that's the only ism I'm going to follow, right? I use capitalism because we need it. But we'll look and we'll follow these people who absolutely hate you. And I tell anybody who create a system, they are not creating a system for you to benefit. Anything someone creates, they're creating it for their benefit. So the people that created Mark, that guy, he's creating that for him and his people. If you go somewhere and they have a socialist society, they're creating it for them. So on and so forth. So we have to create something for us. Go ahead, forecast. I yield, Mike.
Yeah, I agree, my brother. And yo, what's going on, Guy? Jermaine, everybody that came in. And yeah, I definitely agree that he did say that. He said, violence, nothing is ever accomplished without violence, you know what I'm saying? But it's only us that we won't take that part of Marxism, you know what I'm saying? We'll just take the everybody give money to each other stuff, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother thing. And yeah, it's extreme socialism, Bakari. Marxism is like, total control of everything to the state. But yeah, we're gonna get into that right now, because what I'm gonna do, because we gotta start defining this stuff, because like y'all gotta let me know if it's a different kind of definition for like black people use for capitalism, or do like we go by the definition in the dictionary. But I'm gonna show the definition that we got. But if there's a different kind of socialism that black people be talking about when they say they're against it, yo, you gotta let me know. But so all right, so capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. All right. So basically like a free open market is supposed to be. So Bakar, you get that part, right? Bakar?
My bad. I'm on mute. I'm just talking. I say I know what capitalism is, but read the definition again. Make sure everybody get it. Read both of the definitions twice.
Okay. All right. So is capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. Like basically, like you have your trucking company and you own it, you know what I'm saying? Rather than by the state. All right. So all right, you got that?
Yep.
All right. So socialism is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, basically all the stuff that you need to survive and stuff like that, is control and distribution. So the way that you get it in exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Another one says policy or practice based on economic theory of socialism. Pretty much the same thing. So it's basically like the community owns your company, Bakari. Like you have your trucking company, but we all own it as a community. You understand? And you can't make no decisions unless we all make the decision. You understand?
Yes, I understand exactly. Uh-huh.
All right. So let me see. I should have probably did the communism one, but let me see. So communism versus socialism. The main difference is that under communism, most property and economic resources are owned and controlled by the state. So under communism, everything is owned by the government. Everything, except and not the people. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between socialism. Socialism is supposed to be the people own it. You know what I'm saying? And communism is just the government owns your trucking company now, and all citizens share equally in the economic resources as allocated by the elected official. All right. So you got that? That's
Yeah.
communism.
Mm-hmm. Communism, government control. Socialism is supposed to be community control, and capitalism is private control.
Right. All right. So yeah, what you think about that, bro, my brother? Which one? First of all, like, which one would you be more leaning towards?
Uh, which one of those I would lean toward? Uh, capitalism.
Yeah, and it don't gotta be.
In the,
It don't gotta
in the,
be
in the,
one or perfect or none. You know, however you.
in the reason capitalism, because now don't get it twisted. Capitalism has a whole lot of flaws, but the reason I would lean toward capitalism is because I know me doing my trucking business, right? It's dependent on me to get out there and do something, right? I have to be able to sell myself, right? And then I'm able to bring other people on. Then in that way, with what I'm using, I can create something like socialism, the way we share the pay rate, like I talking to a guy today, right? That's why with socialism, right? It's me, you, and 14 people in the chat, right? So that's 16 of us, right? So we have this community, 16 of us, right? Our kids, old enough to work. And we supposed to be working the farm, right? And let's say I'm going out here, or whatever, doing what we supposed to do 5 days a week. Let's say it's out of the 16 people, let's say it's 12 getting up, going to work, doing what they supposed to do every day. So our community can continue to run. But then you have 4 people that want to get up and go to work twice a week. And they are supposed to reap the exact same thing that everyone else reaps, right? It doesn't work like that. I'm going to be honest, right? Communism, no, that's government control. This system, right? You should have looked up Garveyism. When you pull that up, you should have got the definition of Garveyism. But in Garveyism is a capitalism and socialism together, right? Use the capitalist society, but use what we have, right? The business is private owned. But let's say my trucking business is making $300,000, right? And I'm paying my employees, they have to have a livable wage. I'm sorry, I'm paying the employees because they're not my employees. That sounds like I own the people, so I had to retract that. Certain amount of money come to the business, certain amount of money can come to me. But then other parts of the money have to be put back into the system so we can help other people, so we can build the things we need, like schools, uh, hospitals, things like that, stuff that we need. And if you see what Garveyism did during the UNIA and they used Garveyism, you can see why they were able to own, the UNIA owned several hundred businesses, right? So yes, if I'm making 300,000 and out of that 300,000, let's say I'm allowed to keep 100,000, 125,000 for myself, right? I'm just using an example. The business keeps 125,000, right? So now it's 50,000 left. That 50,000 don't come to me. The 50,000 go back into the system, go back into the pot of what we're doing. That's why, if y'all have you people in the chat, have you all ever heard of Liberty University? Put a one in the chat. I know people in Virginia should have heard of Liberty University, but that's why using that system, the UNIA was able to build the first Liberty University in this country. A lot of people don't know that. The first Liberty University in this country was built by the UNIA. That's why they were able to build nursing schools for Black women to go to nursing school. That's why they had the Black Cross nurses. Because people believed in the system, and the system was building people up. I honestly believe, this is my opinion, right? People that scream socialism while we're living in this system, if you put them in a socialist system, they're going to complain about that system. Because do y'all know who Hugo Chavez in Venezuela? Do y'all remember him when he was the president of Venezuela? And he created that socialist system. Uh, everything in Venezuela, first off, they put all their hope in like one product. That's two products. When that went down, they were stuck. But when they was talking about they needed this and needed that and food and whatever, the people were struggling. But Hugo Chavez, his family and his friends, they were not, because they had claimed all the riches. I honestly believe it doesn't make a difference what system it is if the people at top is a crook. If the people at top is a crook, the people at the bottom, is going to be in trouble. Even in this system, we have socialist aspects in this system. You have public school, you have food stamps and welfare, you have public housing. If you just look and see, even some of these 501c3 programs where people can get food, can go, all of that is like social. Those are some social programs, right? That was a social, those are social programs. You're right, Jermaine Thompson. I know a lot of people love Gaddafi. You know, some brother, I'm gonna tell you, look up, I want you to look up a brother named Jermaine Thompson. I'm gonna put his name in the chat, but look up a brother named Thomas Sankara from Burkina Faso. And then everybody will see who Gaddafi got his ideas from, because Sankara did it first. Look up Thomas Sankara. I'm gonna put his name in the chat. But that's for me, and I sure don't want nothing where the government is in complete control and own everything. But there is some states where government own a lot of stuff. Like if you go to Pennsylvania, did you know if you work in a liquor store in Pennsylvania, and I learned this from having friends from Pennsylvania, that if you work in a liquor store in Pennsylvania, that's considered a government job, that's a state job. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's controlled by the government.
Yeah, now even though that is a federal seal, on the liquor bottle. Every time the way the liquor bottle is closed and that seal is on it, and you always breaking the seal, every time you open a bottle of liquor, you are breaking a government seal, right? But in Pennsylvania, all of that is controlled by the state. That's literally a state job. A cashier at the liquor store is a state job in Pennsylvania. But it's just according to what we want and how we want. Because I honestly believe some people is going to complain regardless. I'm a firm believer in using what's at the tip of our hands to build what we want. So for our people that want to be socialists, let's use what's at the tip of your hand and build a socialist society. For everybody that's capitalist, use what's at the tip of your hand and create you a great capitalist society. Me, I believe in Garveyism. So I'm going to use what's at the tip of my hands and create that system. In all three systems, we can use and still work together. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying what's better for me and what I think things should be. But we can still work together, because I still might have something that you need. You're going to have something that I need, and we all need each other, our bodies and our brain. So on that note, I yield the mic. Jermaine Thompson, I didn't know they couldn't pump their own gas in New Jersey. Go ahead, forecast.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. And yeah, I should have asked you first before I asked you that. Is there a different definition of capitalism black people go by, or is it the same thing?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I think black people see capitalism as just being absolutely evil because what has happened to us in this system.
Right. Yeah. And
We have been the capital in this system.
right. Yeah, yeah. You're the product, you know. But yeah, yeah, I'm gonna show the Garveyism thing, and then I'm gonna you know, and then you probably explain it better or whatever. But then, you know, then I go say what my thing is. And anybody can get on here, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to hear y'all opinion, you know. This was really because of the show yesterday, and you know what I'm saying, I wanted to have this be a topic in itself. I probably waited too late, but you know, it is what it is. All right. So Garveyism is the aspect of black nationalism that refers to economic, racial, and political policies. Um, the ideology of Garveyism centers around the unification and empowerment of African descended men, women, and children under the banner of their collective African descent and the repatriation of the descendants of enslaved Africans and profits to the African continent. Um, let me see. I'm trying to see that they don't got too much. All the Jones don't really break down what it is though, you know. Like I would have to actually take time to go look it up. But yeah, you can break it down. That's what I was saying, Bukar. You can like explain exactly what it is.
Okay. Like I was saying, that's basically what it is, but it wasn't uh but it wasn't just about going back to Africa, Garveyism. See, because Garveyism was just not I guess the reason I love it so much, because it wasn't just a economic plan, right? It
Mhm.
was something that was strictly for us what everybody else do, right? Like the Marx do, right? That was for them, right? That was for
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
And this was strictly for us to build us up. Uh have you ever seen a movie called what's the word? You ever seen the movie Hoodlum with
Yeah.
Lawrence Lawrence Fishburne? He may have still been Larry back then. He may have been Larry back then. But do you all remember, if you watch that movie, you could remember seeing people standing out at a truck in that movie, right? And the people was feeding them off the truck. That was the UNIA. And if you watch, I forget the lady who played Lawrence Fishburne's wife in that movie, ended up being his wife. But anyway, as she was going around, you could see in that movie she was going door to door, passing out groceries, canned goods, right? That was the UNIA. Even though in that movie, when you see it, they also showed black people taking shots at them while they were doing it. What is this? You passing out these canned goods? Ain't nobody gonna eat this, and ain't nobody going to no Africa. It's so hot over there. Girl, that perm and that grease gonna melt out your head. Don't nobody want to go over there. That's the type of stuff they said in the movie. But that was the UNIA, and that's Garveyism. Garveyism is not just an economic system, it's a complete system. It's social, economic, and political to build a people up. You know how the other day we was talking about the black doll test, right? You can look up and see the UNIA, the first black-owned doll factory in this country was UNIA, and they made black dolls to build up young black girls' self-esteem. So it's not just an economic system; it's a system for us. You know, it's a system for us, designed strictly for us. And I would say it again: it's economic, it's political, it's social, and it's nationalism. Yeah, and I give the mic.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. I feel you on that. And yeah, Light Bearer guy, y'all can come on here and say what y'all think. God said I believe in economic nationalism. Um, yeah, I can't say exactly what you mean. I don't want to speak for you, my brother. But yeah, y'all can come on and say whatever. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Bakari. And let me get on let me say what I think about this whole socialism versus capitalism thing. I think that we do get a lot of we get spooked out a whole lot. Now the actual definition of capitalism and what is practiced is two different things, because the government was involved in all the things that they were doing, which would make it not capitalism. That's I'm not gonna say it's a socialist program, because I'm not gonna put it on that. But when the government is involved, then it's not a capitalist industry. You understand? And for me, like, as far as like socialism goes, for me, that's like, pulling yourself up by the bottom of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I go to work every day? Yo, what's going on, guy? Before I go in, go ahead, guy. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, brothers? How y'all doing?
Chilling, my brother.
All right, all right, all
Good,
right.
my
What's
man.
good? What's good, what's good, King? Yeah, man. Just listening, man. This is a good topic. Um, the reason why I say, I think Brother Carr is right. You know what I'm saying? I think as uh, because I consider myself a nationalist. Because I believe that um, we are a nation. You know what I'm saying? And I think all that comes together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think, white people always like to separate everything. They always try to separate the mind from your body. And in African history, everything comes together. So I think it's naturally that as a nation, you need capitalism. Even Marcus Garvey said that, you got to be a fool, I'm just paraphrasing, to not have capitalism in your nation. You know what I'm saying? Um, Socialism, that could be an ally to what we get into, because you need to, um, it got to be for the people by the people. You know what I mean? And I think there is a difference, um, how we handle. Well, I think there is a difference what we think capitalism is than what white people think it is. Um, they abuse those titles, um, but those titles are unified to create a nation. So that's what I'm saying. That um, just like science, we learned about biology, we learned about astrology, we learned about um, all these other things, but all that comes together. You know, um, Learning through our history, we need astrology, we need to learn about the stars and how the world works or whatever in order to build things. That's what you call observation. So all that goes hand in hand. So we definitely need to go back to our African way of doing things to understand the world better. Because I think most of us, when we think about when we do things, we think we go by what white people standards and how they operate, and as you can see, it's not working for us. So that's the reason why we confuse. You know what I'm saying? Um, and instead of just taking these elements and bring them together like it's supposed to be. Um, They always, I think white people, to me, they the real separatists. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to separate everything. They like to separate the black man from the black woman. They like to separate animals. And you know what I'm saying? You know, they're the real separatists. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't believe in that. I don't. You know, and that's what everything is just so out of whack. Um, I think I think we need a little bit of everything. Um, um, to sustain the how we live. Um, so that's my take on it. You know, Mike.
Yeah, I agree with you, my brother. And let me say this before I pass it to Bakari. For me, I agree with socialism with not socialism. I agree with capitalism with socialist safeguards. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, socialism, you're judging from the bottom. You know, like why would I create a company and work extra hard in that company and do extra work when somebody else maybe or everybody else? Because to build a company, and that's why a lot of socialist companies have a issue getting off the ground. Now, in the system of capitalism, you can have co-ops, meaning, you know, if you want to start a farm, we can all put our money together and have a socialist system within that system. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're doing our own thing. But as far as capitalism, why would I try to work extra hard to build my business up? Like, say I work extra hard so I might get more clients per year. And this is all the way with communism. So like if I work my business all the way where it's $1 million business, but somebody else only puts in just enough work to make theirs $100,000 business, but I get capped off by the money I make. Why would I put that extra time and effort in? Why wouldn't I just do what the other person is doing if we're gonna all get the same thing? And again, somebody else is determining what you do, even in, like I said, co-ops is one thing where you put your money together. But if I'm building my business, like I don't want somebody, and I know it's for me, you know, like the project I'm working on, I don't want everybody to be like, no, do this, no, do it this way, no, do it this way, when I have a specific vision for what I want to build. And the point is, you know, I understand when they say, well, capitalism is going to cause corruption. I get it, but everything is going to cause corruption because there are certain people that are out here that are out to get power. You know what I'm saying? So in a socialist program, the people who are in charge making the decisions could be corrupt, like Bakari was saying before. And that could be the same thing with capitalism. But the irony is, like, because we live in America where the definitions and the actual practices is two different things. Like Republican means you want a small government out of people's business, but Republicans want the government all in our business when we start doing something. So that's not the real definition of Republican. And when you tell somebody like, yo, what's up, Blue? And Blue, you can come on here too if you want. But when you start telling somebody, like, okay, well, I passed the law where you have to have a certain insurance or whatever, and then say you can only get it from these companies, that's not the true definition of capitalism. That's more, to me, more so socialism, because you're telling me I have to put my money into these specific companies, and far too often the people who are friends or whatever are going to get those contracts. You understand? So like, but I do agree with socialist programs like creating public schools. So we all work and we putting our tax money together and we creating public schools. Now the issue that we live in America, they're taking our tax money and our public schools is horrible. They're taking our tax money and our roads are not fixed. It's a difference when you have a say in this quote unquote co-op. But as far as capitalism goes, you know, to me, you know, and I get it. Like unless you like harming somebody or harming the environment, which the socialist safeguards come in. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Rashid? But yeah, that's where the socialist safeguards come in. Because if you harming somebody, or if you're like harming the environment too, like, you know, the way they're doing, they're destroying the whole world, the whole planet. They binge, they purge on everything. You know what I'm saying? So there's has to be socialist safeguards, but we naturally have a respect for life. You know what I'm saying? For the earth, for nature. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the same L's as them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead, Bakari.
Capitalism with socialist safeguard. That's almost like the system that you're in today. Explain what you mean by socialist safeguards.
Like I was just saying, like if I want to like kill you or something for my business, I can't do that. Or the also creating programs for like for schools and stuff, or creating homeless programs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the safeguards that I mean. What socialist aspects, I guess I
Well,
should
that's what
say.
I'm saying.
They
That's what
safeguard.
like that's the type of system we live in today. And even with that, right? When I said, "Don't," what's up, Rashid? What's up, Blue? I can't believe you came around, Blue. I'm just clowning with you.
Yeah, and I
But
disagree, because I don't think that's the system that we live in
no,
today.
that's what the system's supposed to be, and that's the point that I'm making. When we talk about the system, it's not the system; it's the people at the top. That's why you have to create your own system. And let me show you what I mean. Not just at the top of this country. If you go through the city in which you live, you will find places that's getting government money and government funding that's supposed to be helping the homeless and feeding the homeless or helping the underprivileged. They get that money. And what happened? I'm trying to think. Oh, my goodness, I can't think of the name. It's one here, right? And as we were talking, I went to this county meeting, right? And and in the meeting, they started talking about people. We were talking about uh, rent, because once people went back and they took them safeguards away from, they can't. What's the word? They can't evict you after the pandemic, right? We had this meeting. We was talking about rent. Now we in there. We are talking to the county commissioners, and as they talk, we have to. I'm trying to think of the name of these damn, but I can't think of them right now. Right? We have to go through those places to get the money for your rent. You all have allocated $25 million to. I'm still trying to think. That's why I'm still pausing, because I'm trying to think. Well, forget the name of the place. Uh, they allocated $25 million to those people for rent, right? And 10 million to somebody, to another one, and 10 million more to another small one, right? So that's 45 million or something like that that they were allocating for rent. The people that get this money, they can give it out when they want, give it to who they want. It's amazing how much stuff you have to have. So if you don't meet the criteria, what do you think happened to that money? So the first thing they're going to do is pay themselves, right? So now once they pay themselves, now it's some money. And now we're going to give money to these people and these people and these people. So it doesn't make a difference what system it is. It doesn't make a difference, none of that, right? A crook is going to be a crook. That's just how I see it. But if we're looking for a system, and of course it has to be updated because it was done for the 1920s. For me, I tell everybody, study Garveyism. Study Garveyism and try to understand Garveyism. And you will see, for black people, that's the best way to go, instead of jumping on other people's program. Now you're the mic.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Guy, but let me say this real quick, because and the only reason why I say, yeah, I don't think it is what it is, because number one, even the socialist stuff, we don't get that. Like white women, white bitches is the number one benefit of affirmative action and all these people of color things. You know what I'm saying? All of these programs is not for us, so it's not even helping us in this system. Number two, for capitalism, as far as that aspect goes, there's literally been laws that say we could not own a business. You know what I'm saying? There's literally been things that against us owning stuff in the history of this country, which would be technically against the definition of capitalism, which keeps the government out of it. So, to me, even how it was built. But go ahead, my brother guy.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to Blue, Rashid, um, and everybody. If I missed you, should give y'all a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the chat. Um, yeah, I agree with both of y'all brothers. I just think that none of those titles done anything for us, because that's the white man's. He can create things and abuse it. See, those things worked for him. You know what I'm saying? It never worked for us. We never got any benefits of being socialists. We never got any benefits of the white man's capitalism and the white man's socialism and the white man's communism. You know what I'm saying? Um, because black people, we tried to fit in those titles, and at the end we got nothing out of it. But I agree with Brother Bakar. I think we should just study. I think the only option and the best option is Garyism. And because it worked. It worked. That's the best thing ever. You know what I'm saying? But what happened was black people thought again that the white man's ice is colder, and we got away from that. And I think we always been the type of people that once we get a little taste of the white man's crumbs, we abandon our way of life. And I hate that. I hate that. Just like when we had the brother on the show, forgot the brother's name. Shit. We was talking about the clothes that we used to wear. Lugs, Fat Farm. What's that brother's name, Brother Bakar? You know what I'm talking about? What's his name?
Hustle Smart.
Hustle Smarts. Yes. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Hustle Smart. But he had it on point, man, because we had our own style that only fit us. Even when we wear our suits, there's a certain suits that we wear that we only look good in. You know what I'm saying? Certain outfits that our sisters wear that only our sisters can bring. That's the only outfits that bring us out. And what happened was we put expiration dates on it. It was only good for that year, and then but we always thought that the Versace's and the Gucci's or whatever was always better. I don't buy Gucci. I never liked the European clothes. I hate it. I hate the way the European wear their clothes. They wear their pants very tight. They especially when they wear suits. If you notice that their suits are they wear high waters, they're very, very tight. Like it's very tight. Like it's like a squeezing out, like it's like a squeezable type of clothing that they wear. We always been a type of people that we wear our clothes a little loose, or fitted. You know what I mean? But you see a lot of that going on. You see a lot of the booty huggers, jeans and shirts, and black people think they look good in that, and they look kind of gay in it, in my opinion. So I think that's our problem. We have abandoned our system for the white man's system because the white man gave us a little job, like a little government job or whatever. So all of a sudden, the white man, they like us. So let me ban my system and join the white man's system. And we became more worse off than anything. So I think that's what I'm starting to see now. I think a lot of those titles, capitalism, social, never, and all that under the white man system, it never worked for us. And that's one reason why we're complaining today about about our condition. But if we just come back home, get into the African way of the system, we will be better off. And I think that's what we need to do. And I hear the mic.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And by the way, the link in the chat, if anybody agree with like socialism or disagree with what we saying, you can come on real quick and let me know the positive things about about it. And to me, and I'm gonna ask y'all a question, but I'm gonna say this real quick. Like, to me, capitalism is just me supporting my brother Bakari's business. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of capitalism. Supporting what Guy is doing, supporting Erica Howard business, supporting Blue business, supporting Lightbearer. To me, that's what capitalism is, you know. And yeah, we have to build ourselves up economically. We do have to control the landmass, but we have to start from the basics, because right now we don't even have the basics like we used to have. In a capitalist society, people talk about Rosewood all the time. How do you think they did that? By circulating their dollars within their own community. Then they hired each other, though. That's the thing. They realized there was no illusion of inclusion. Capitalism played a part in building their society, and you know, there were socialist aspects of their society where they looked out for each other. You know, it doesn't have to be you know, one or the other if you put it together the right way. But you know, it comes with a form of nationalism, and number one, being proud that you're black. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you're a black man, and not saying I'm not black because it means something else under another man's law. You know what I'm saying? First, you got to start defining your own laws, creating your own policies. That's number one. Realizing that everything in life is about politics, and we have to start getting into our own political gain instead of trying to vote on which one is less racist and which one is the lesser of two evils and all of this BS, because we lose every single time because they're out for the same thing. They do this to their own people. What makes you think that they won't do this to us? Um, and Jermaine said, "What about the native indigenous people of this land system?" I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, you can elaborate. But yo, let me ask y'all a question, because y'all was saying like Garveyism and stuff like that. So like yo, and Guy was like it's like capitalism, but Garvey believed in capitalism. So like in social programs. So like, you know, so it was kind of the same thing as like capitalism with socialist aspects to it or something like that. So like, yo, both of y'all, you know, let me know, break it down, like the Garveyism thing.
What do you mean?
What is it like? Because I know you was like, it's like capitalism and what
Oh,
social
you didn't
programs
break
to help
down.
each other.
Yeah, I said that's what Garveyism is. You know, like I said, even you got a private business, but you got to put back to the pot. Uh, you have to put back to the pot, so everybody, so you can build for your community, so you can build, you know, things that you have to build. That, like I said, it's an economic, a social, and political uh, system. Economic, social, and political system. Be your own military that way. We could have our own. We talking about getting into truck driving. Ask most black people who drive trucks, what did they have to go to school? How far away did they have to go to school? And watch what they tell you. The school, we always going out into white neighborhoods, right? Always. Always. It never failed. Because there's nothing close to us, right? And since there was nothing close to us, and we haven't put that system together where we can go out and have the schools in our own area where we don't get back to building nursing schools like the UNIA did, we're failing. We're failing our people. And for me, yes, capitalism is involved because we are over here and we're in a capitalist system. So I believe in using what's at the tip of my fingers to build the things that we need. You understand? And what's at the tip of your fingers right now? Capitalism. How can we truly, in all honesty, how and why would we be truly against what we have. If that's what we have right now, why am I going to be against it? I'm going to use it to build something that I need. And it's just that simple. So before you throw it away, you have to understand how to use it, right? And I'm going to say it again. I honestly believe, and I'm just being honest. I honestly believe a lot of people that say they want socialism and they all that is because they don't want to put in the work. Maybe not all of them, but I sure believe that's a lot of them, or most of them. They don't want to put in the work. We have a situation right now where there's one thing for us to do. And that one thing is to take advantage of what we have to build what we need. And I get a mic.
Yeah, and yo, let me say this. Yeah, Blue, definitely. Yeah, drive safe, but yeah, just hit me up when you can. And hopefully Person Kid. Hey Matilda, how you doing? Thanks for coming on. Um and Person Kid, yeah, like yeah, he's into the economic thing. I definitely want to hear his opinion about it. And yeah, and Jermaine, I'm not sure what the system was. That's I need to look it up. And yeah, I definitely need to read that book too. That's another book. But yeah, go ahead, my brother guy.
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Like basically, like what do you think like Garveyism is? Like it's like used like it's like kind of capitalism and like socialists put together, or like kind of like break it down for like for people who don't really understand.
Well, Darwinism is the way his system is just more like um, most like building a nation, and basically we need all three of those things to um, well, those two things, socialism and capitalism, um, to build a nation. We need capital. We always talk about economic power to build things and to produce. So, I mean, he never, he made it perfectly clear that he wasn't against that as far as capitalism. Um, Socialism is good, you know what I'm saying, because we have to, because this is like I said, capitalism is for the people and by the people. Um, so I don't think I don't think he was, he was totally against socialism, but just having socialism by itself, I don't think it's not going to work. You need a little bit of everything um, to build a nation. So, like I said, there is no, and I think the reason why we look at these titles as like evil, whatever, because white people took it and they use it against us, but he didn't use those titles against his people. He did it to build his nation up. You know what I'm saying? So um, you can't, in my opinion, I don't think you could just be one thing. I just think that you gotta have a little bit of everything. Um, but I just feel like if we learn from what our people have done, I think might get a more clarity of how is it done. Yes, when you said supporting businesses and you know, um, making sure that we produce and sell our goods to our people, creating things that we like as a people. Because I just think that if we create things that will sustain human life, people going to buy it. People from other races and all that, they're going to buy from us, and we'll keep the money. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how it should work. Because we always talking about we invented all these things, but if you notice all these inventions, we haven't benefit none of this stuff. We haven't invented the light bulb. We haven't invented the traffic light. We haven't um, benefited these things that our people have done. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, if we came up with all these great ideas and all these, all these inventions, I just think that we have the power and we have the intelligence to create things that will sustain us, to make our life easier. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but it takes resources. Africa got the most, the most, it's the richest continent of this planet. And while it's just weird to me that Black people are always talking about they don't have, and um, they don't have the resources or whatever, but they bang on they bang on a country, a continent that their ancestors come from, and this continent got the majority of all the resources that people need. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem. Um, you know, uh, so that's what if you notice, most of the resources come from Africa, even the foods and all that stuff. So I just think that we need to benefit from that to create. That's why I say we start like an economic, you know, um, an economic nationalist, so to speak, because it's all about building. You know what I'm saying? But we need to work together. It's not just a one-man party. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what Garvinism means to me. As far as um, the way how I read his philosophy, um, and we just need to take advantage of our resources. Even if it comes down to investing into coffee. I think one of the biggest production in Africa is coffee, and we need to take advantage of that. But until we get out this, but we got to get out this mindset that the white man's ice is colder, and because if we don't, we're gonna keep going in circles. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing. And I yield the mic.
All right, yeah, and I'm gonna give everybody a chance to come in before we wrap it up, because I already know it's starting to get late, and my fault for coming on late, and I appreciate y'all brothers for coming on. But yo, let me say this real quick, because it's funny, right? Because a lot of Black people be having all this smoke for like capitalism, you know what I'm saying? And they say it's the destruction of all our people, And now, when we can have this conversation, a lot of people ain't show up or whatever. But yo, a lot of people feel like, yo, is this capitalism that's destroying us? Is the capitalism that's creating the racism? No, it's the crazy psychopaths who was doing this before all of that. They was kidnapping you before a capitalist system was created. It's just a byproduct of what they do, and everybody got all this smoke for capitalism, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the death and destruction and all of this stuff. Black people be so spooked out about everything. It's just an economic system to yo, what's going on, Blue?
Hey, what's up?
What's going
Yeah,
on?
what's good, Blue?
Hey, you all. How you doing?
I'm
What's going
good.
on, Blue?
Yeah, yeah.
On the live, like actively. I know I ain't been on, but I've been on. I listen, and like I said, I'm learning some other things in the background, so that way I can better assist us. And I'm zeroing in on my project, my patent project, because it's time sensitive. This month is just really important. So I'm kind of really tied to that right now. I have to put all my focus on it. And sometimes that's what it takes. Like I still am amazed how Bakari spoke his future into existence when he said, by my birth date, I'm going to, be this much accomplished. And he did it. Like that's amazing. I just hope we all can kind of zoom in and focus on different things that we know we need to get to those goals that we know we need to reach. And, I understand everything that y'all saying. You know what I mean? But what I've also or also now kind of see is because we are not mentally there, as a people. We're not mentally educated enough. We're just not, we're not there. So the way that we're talking, the verbiage that we're using, everyone is not going to understand completely. Now we're talking plain English, so yeah, they can understand, but because each word and the way it's being used and the different type of people and history that we're talking about, if they're not looking those things up on their own, the school is not going in depth about it, so, and if it's not being taught at the home, then where you think they're gonna learn it from? They have, it has to be presented to even be a thought to even want to look into and actually teach yourself. You know what I mean? When you think about how these things were taught to you, if you were not brought up in a household that way. So I feel like for years and years, the same thing has been, the same things have been said, but I just think we have to kind of do it differently. Just like they say, there's several ways to do one thing or skin a cat. So I just feel like for our situation and our people, we might have to combat it a different way, and for one, with the words that we use, we have to be very descriptive with our words to paint that picture, create that picture. Just like you got several different types of learners, you got to be able to communicate on and touch all different aspects of their learning style. That's one thing that I've realized, because the way I talk, it almost seems, from freaking outer space in a way, because I can't really um, seem to get on the same page with a lot of people. It comes easy with you all because we understand each other. We understand the lingo. We understand the words that we're using and the, how strong or the meaning, to what extent they go to. So that's why we kind of click. But as you can see, it's a small group. There's less than there's more. So I just think, finding another way to communicate these things. A lot of people might not even know about Marcus Garvey. So that's what I think. You know, Moving forward, try to flex the style of the way we're deciding to deliver if we really want to touch different people, because they group people into like social categories on how they decide to market. You know what I mean? So to kind of not follow that style, but kind of expand and learn from how they're touching and reaching more people, um, and trying to flex it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong way, because there's so many different types of people there. One thing is going to make sense to a group, and then another thing is going to make sense to a group, and I'm a part of a group that believe in all of it. So it's like, for me, I like how you had generalized it, Forecast, when you was just like, it's about supporting each other, like literally. And it's easy as that. They say we spend the most money. You know what I mean? Why are we not taking the time to spend it with each other? That's it. Instead of going to that local, take the time to find a local Black owned business and support them. Have conversation, make them feel like, hey, I see you and I get what you're trying to do. I'm going to support you. It's okay for us to have those small encounters with each other when we are out and about, because it really gives off a good vibe. It really does. And it feels good to know that you got a person that knows and feels that struggle from the past, and is with you. It feels really good. I've been able to have that feeling more now, um, because like I said, I always speak to people and just greet them. It's just the basics of letting us be more comfortable with each other in public, to even be able to look that way and say, hey, what's up, instead of looking at it like, why that person staring at me, why are you looking at me? You know what I mean? To be so confrontational with each other. So literally starting with support, and that's the best thing that we can do. And networking, seeing where we need people, Like if you go into several businesses and all you see is other races doing that business, hey, we don't have nobody doing it. Maybe that's something you might want to look into. And yeah, I just wanted to point those things out. I'll go ahead and pass the mic.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Blue. That was on point. Facts as usual. And yeah, I ain't gonna keep Bakari and Guy up too late. I appreciate y'all for coming on. But y'all want to say something about what Blue just said?
Something she just said, about supporting, when she piggybacked on you, it made me think about what we have to do is we have to understand business. And let me tell you what I mean. I was talking to a brother today where I parked my truck at, right? So I met me a people out there, they're pretty cool. But it's just one, me and him, we were talking today, and he has 7 trucks now. I think he have 3 rigs and 4 box trucks, right? And he was like, when he started his business, he was looking for some people to come. He got some trucks. Then he wanted some folks to come rock with him. So he looked out for his brother, his cousin, his friend, his brother-in-law. So it's 5 of them, right? Out of the 5 that he started, he got 6 trucks, I'm sorry. And he just hired a driver for his other truck. So now, guess the only person that is still with him? His brother-in-law, his brother, his cousin, his friend told him, why are you making the most money? Shit, I'm gonna get my own truck. And I can go out here and do the same thing you're doing. Now, mind you, right? With him, because I know the contracts he got. I don't know if they have a ready ice where y'all at, but that's where they got a ready ice where we go. They go place to place and put ice at the stores. They're really busy for about 9 months, maybe 10 out the year. But in that, you rolling and you making money. Now, he let them come on. They couldn't get their insurance and none of that. So when he set up everything. But anyway, they just decided they were going to go get their own truck. He showed me a couple of invoices. He was like, look, man, working with me, this is what we were splitting on the one truck a week. We were splitting $4,000 a week, right? So they splitting $4,000 a week. And out of $4,000 a week, so that's $2,000 that you're making. Everything else covered, insurance, business got everything covered. They would rather go get their own. So now that they got their own, they're making $2,000 a week. But their insurance is also about $2,000 a month. And they didn't see how they were saving money and how they were trying, and how the brother was trying to build something major, a real business, a conglomerate, right? Well, the only thing they could say was, I'm going to get my own. They have their own. But $2,000 a week sounds good, but now you got to pay all the fuel expenses. That's yours. When gas, fuel expensive, that's yours. When the truck break down, all of that expense is yours. That insurance every month. That's yours. And when your insurance, and you making $2,000 a week, and your insurance is about between $1,800 and $2,000, I'm gonna go on the low end. I'm gonna give them $1,800 a month. So your $8,000 is already down to $6,200. Your fuel for a week is about $350, right? Cause no, because I'm think they got a box truck. It's about $350, $400, right? So that's $2,200 a month already. That's gone out of your 8,000. So you down to 5,800, right? So now you have to put up for tires and put up for expenses on the truck. So you go from where you're actually making 2,000 because you want to be the owner. You got to say you're the boss. You go from where you're actually bringing home 2,000 and you don't have all those other worries, and you are part owner of the business, but you want to be the biggest owner because your brother, your cousin, your friend actually put in the work to get these other trucks, and y'all mad because y'all splitting money with him. Not looking at what you're making, you're counting his money. We have to learn to understand business. Yes, he was getting about $10,000 a week, but he purchased all the trucks. He's paying the insurance. They have to pay some fuel. He's doing all of that. Y'all driving his truck and getting, see, we were just talking about socialism, Garveyism, and all that, right? And you're getting 50% of the profit. You work 10 months. He showed me the one guy invoice. He worked 10 months. He worked 10 months. And in 10 months, he made $140,000 in 10 months. Now, but you want to leave because you want to be above everybody. This brother, I talked to him. We swapped numbers and everything today as we were talking. This is not our first time talking, but he reminded me of me a little somewhat. And what I mean by that, the guy that was driving with him, he was telling him, "This is my boss," and he told him, he said, "Look, don't you ever tell nobody I'm your boss. I'm not your boss. You responsible for this truck. We split everything half and half. You're almost like a partner, and because that's what he's working toward." And they're working it, but we have, because of our people, because if they understood business, right? If they truly understood business, none of them would have left. They would have still been there, helping that company grow bigger. Because the bigger the company get, the more money you're gonna make. But you didn't see it because you was counting his pockets. And you feel even though he done purchased all the trucks, and even though he got insurance under the wrap, even though if something break down, he fixing all of that out of his pocket, you feel you should still be making as much money as him. We have to understand business. We have to. And I'll get a mic.
Yeah, facts, my brother. Guy, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I just think that a lot of us don't know about business. I mean, one of the things about business is it's a contract. You know what I'm saying? What's on the contract? What was the what was the agreement? And people cannot breach that. So if the agreement is like the music industry, right? So if I write the music, um, I should get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? If I write it, um, if I produced it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, I should get paid for it. And that's the agreement. That will be the agreement. It should not be no if, ands, buts about it. Because a lot of these guys, they get ghost riders, and the music will be off the hook, and they can make millions. And they're people, these artists will go like, platinum and stuff, but they're not really making no money because most of the money is going to the person who wrote it, the executive producers and all that stuff. Um, Especially if they make the beats, they wrote the music, and if that's the agreement, hey, if I do these things, um, I want to get paid for it. I mean, and I think that's the thing about business. It's about contract, you know. So um, that's one of the things about business. But when we're dealing with capitalism, um, there's a lot of mismanagement when it comes down to that. if you look at the religious world, right? You look at the Vatican, you look at the all these black churches and stuff, and especially the black churches, like, you know, they taking all this money, from the people, but they don't invest it back into the neighborhood, and they see the neighborhood um, going down. They see it, but a lot of these guys, they want to live this luxury lifestyle, um, because their thing is, well, if I look sharp, the people will look at me as God. So there's a lot of abuse um, when it comes down to religion, and this is white man's religion. This is white people's religion, that they adopted. So when Marcus Garvey, when he was preaching um, race first, everybody else, you know, you have some groups branched off from that and put religion first, like the Nation of Islam, um, the Moorish Science Temple. You know, um, they put religion first, and this is the reason why. That's another reason why our money is mismanaged. People, you got all these people that, especially in the music world, you got people get these these big advancements, and what do? They go to the strip club, or they try to make it rain, or they buy all these expensive cars and all that stuff, um, not knowing they got to pay taxes on all that stuff, you know. Um, and then when they go broke, you know, they come around to the people with their tail between their legs. Um, you know, one thing I can say about Puffy, he, in order for the way he became successful, because he went back to school, he went to college and learned about business. He didn't know about business, but once he learned it and mastered it, I don't think he finished, but I know he just did some. He went in there, got what he wanted, and now next thing you know it, um, you know, he was very successful as far as with the Bad Boy situation, you know, with the Bad Boy label. So um, that's the thing. I think we need to really, really study capitalism, and which is, you know, we need to study business. We need to really get serious with this stuff, because I think a lot of us are not serious. I think a lot of us think about, you know, you know, like you said, it's about this. They put this capitalism like this spookism type of thing, but at the same time, people need it. You know, people look forward to it. You know, they need that. You know, in order to survive, even when it comes to, you need capitalism even to eat. So for them to say capitalism is the root of all evil, um, yeah, it comes with greed. Yeah, it definitely comes with greed. But that's how white people took it. They took that and abused it. Um, you know, but we have to really, really we have to really, really master business, and really um, redefine or bring back the real meaning of capitalism, because um, capitalism is not about greed. It's all about um, more like sharing the wealth, to make sure everybody is paid for what they produce. You see what I'm saying? Um, so like the church, if I'm investing into the church, because the, you know, church always say about, you know, always talking about how the people are so messed up, and the people's poor, and they want to take care of the poor or whatever. But if nothing happened, you know, because the church, they need money too. So for them to say church is the money is the root of evil, you know, but they need money. They taking people's money, but you saying the money is evil. That's a contradictory. You know what I'm saying? And they the one who's making it evil with the greed. They taking all that people's money, all those poor people's money, because the people is investing into the church, so they can so they make so they so hope for the church to give back to make the people's lives a little easier. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's why people have this notion of why money is so evil, and that because of greed. Um, but those people need to be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? You can't take people's money and live a luxury lifestyle. And while people is hungry, people starving. It's just not right. I think those people need to really, really, um, get handled. You know what I'm saying? Because it's wrong. But we need capitalism. We need capitalism, and it's just to better ourselves. Nobody don't want to live in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to live in no slum. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we have to study business. We can learn from each other and not be selfish. You know, but even this YouTube thing, there's a lot of selfishness because they know there's a lot of capitalism in YouTube. You can make money on YouTube, but there's people that are selfish. They take people's money, take all those donations, they don't give back. They don't invest, saying, okay, what I'm going to do, since I'm saving up now because I'm working on this. So to show that, hey, this is where your money's going. But it's all about self gain, and that's what you see now. So people abuse capitalism. I don't think capitalism is a bad thing to me. I think people just abuse it, and when people see it, they think it's evil. But man make it evil. People make it evil. So that's the way I see it. And with that I say, I yield the mic.
All right,
Hey, let
yeah,
me say one thing real quick.
go ahead.
I forgot. Peace, Matilda. Thanks for joining, and peace to you, Jose J. Brown. Thanks for joining. That's all I wanted to say. I want to highlight them because I forgot to say something.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what's going on, Jose? And Blue, you want to say something, and then we're gonna go around and wrap it up after Blue go.
Yeah, I'll say my version of what they was pretty much saying because I completely agree. And it's like this, everybody's not meant to do the same thing, or I should say, play the same position. Everybody has their own position. So it's not saying everybody has to be a business owner, or, when you in that type of scenario where you partner with somebody and then, okay, if you see that they're making more, the jealousy, envy, all that stops at the door. You know what I mean? Because it's a bigger purpose. Yeah, it's the goal is to eat, but it's a bigger purpose. You're trying to feed your kids and your kids' kids and kids' kids. You're trying to see a portion of a people come up. So that's the main goal. And I've definitely been in that situation and scenario, and it's like it happened just like that. Everybody wanted to be the chief, but it's like, okay, why did we do this? Because one person you seen made it happen off of it. So why don't you take those examples, or take that person's way of doing things, and let everyone play their part. You know what I mean? Everyone brings something different to the table. So everybody can't be doing the same thing. It just doesn't make sense. It's not going to work that way. So I would just say, partnering with somebody, uh, just to allow, and you have to be okay with being honest to yourself, to say, hey, that person does this a little bit better than me. I think they should kind of be more hands-on with that area. It's okay to acknowledge if someone's better in a different area, because I'm sure you're better in a different area than them. And that's just how things wind up balancing out. So I just wish, people replace jealousy and envy with admiration, um, and motivation. Like, take that out of your whole thought process about each other. You don't ever got to be jealous about something. Um, and then I wanted to point out, um, um, what did he point out about with business? I'm sorry, y'all. Uh, Walking around and talking definitely distracts me. And I'm multitasking. I'm changing my water out on all my plants that I've started planting and making sure that they're right. So, you know, I'm I haven't had to go and purchase greens as far as onions and stuff from the store because I'm growing my own now. You don't know how good that feels. So just throwing that out there. But like I was saying, yeah, everyone is gonna play a different role. And then it was something in particular I wanted to freaking say. Oh my God, it's in my mind. If you want to go, Cass, that's cool. I guess I could bring it up when we go around again.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna come back to you one more time.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah, I mean, this was a great show, definitely, man. Yo, thank you, Blue, for coming on here, and Blue definitely is smart with the business. You know what I'm saying? She been an entrepreneur since I knew her. So yeah, shout out to you, shout out to Bakari, and shout out to Guy. Hey, Bakari, no, those anti-capitalism people came. You know what I'm saying? Which was what I was kind of expecting. You know what I'm saying? But it was good. It still turned into a lesson or whatever. So now we understand what capitalism is. I'm still a little bit confused if black people capitalism is different or not. But
I think
like
it's
I
a
said,
little different. I want
yeah,
it to be different. That's what I say.
you
I
want
even
it to
think
be
our
different.
socialism, because of the way we think. Now, I take that back. It can be different, but it's certain people that fool around get in charge. It's gonna be like this or worse.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, man. But yeah, thank you y'all for coming. I know it was people ain't really into topics that'll help them with their life or whatever. We ain't on here. I ain't on here arguing with Blue, saying she ain't nothing. I ain't on here arguing with Bakari or calling Guy no names. So a lot of people ain't gonna show up. But yo, thank you to everybody who did show up. But yeah, go ahead, brother Bakari, and then Guy, and then Blue.
Hey,
You can
look,
go ahead
man,
and
I
close
thank you
out
for
and take all the time you need to, my brother.
all
All
right, look, man,
everything.
I thank you for letting me on, man. This was an excellent program. I want to set up a debate with some of the anti-capitalism. Not a debate where it's going to cause problems, just a discussion. Because they might have some ideas that we can use, and we might have some ideas that they can use. So I want to set up a discussion. But it was good to be on the panel with y'all, brother Guy Nollywood Jr., Queen Blue, who don't answer her phone and just ignore people. Now I had to call y'all Blue. And everybody in the chat, I thank y'all for listening. I hope y'all enjoyed it. This is Brother Bakari. My name is Entwa de Mele up there. That's he who greet with fire in Swahili. But I'm known as Bakari. If y'all haven't heard of me, you heard of me now. Check out my channel. Peace, one love.
Yeah, Bakari, you ain't need no fire today, my brother. You ain't even need to greet with nobody with no fire. But yeah, definitely. I appreciate it, my brother. Now, what you was about to say?
I'm saying I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother Guy. Appreciate you for coming through, my brother Guy.
Oh, definitely, man. I appreciate all of y'all on the panel. Brother Kari, Blue, yourself. And I've, like I said, I've definitely learned something. So I'm always learning. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. Like people are afraid to having real discussions that's gonna improve their everyday life. You know what I'm saying? And this is not something that was taught in the school systems. So it was purposely made um, for us to be servants and not to be entrepreneurs. You see what I'm saying? When you go to these white schools, they are being taught to be entrepreneurs, to be in charge and stuff like that, while we are being taught to serve. And that's the reality. Um, and I blame, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I do blame ourselves for that. Like these these black teachers and stuff like that, and the professors, because they need to fight, while they sit back, and these supposed to be so intelligent people, but they allow the system to control them instead of fighting against it and say, look, no, when it comes down to our children, we're going to teach them about business. We're going to teach them about capitalism. We're going to teach them to be entrepreneurs. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, to work for somebody, to at least invest into somebody that looks like them, that own their business.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we need to teach our children and the youth. You see what I'm saying? So because nobody else is not doing that. Like I said, we need to get back in the race, and that's what we are doing. We're so busy. Like I said, it's only a handful of us that's like us. Everybody else is beefing. Everybody want to talk about, oh, I'm not African. I'm Native American, and it's just this ongoing nonsense. And I'm gonna be honest with you, black people sound so stupid. They just sound, oh, I'm from this land. It just gets a little redundant, because it's not really helping us. Really, it's not putting money in my pocket. I'll tell you that. So, we need to sometimes we need to balance ourselves and say, okay, we talked about that. Let's get into something serious. But yeah, capitalism is very important. It's very important, and that's how cities are built. That's how roads are made. That's how um, skyscrapers are built. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back into the race. We the only race of people that I know that we don't own one skyscraper in all these major cities. And if I'm wrong, I want maybe one of y'all can help me. Who own a skyscraper that you know? I mean, what famous person that own a corporation? And I could, like I said, like a Trump. I just use him as an example. He has a name on his building. Let everybody know that, hey, this is mine. I haven't seen that when it comes down to our people, but we need to get back into the race. I mean, this is and that's what we're failing to do. We're not in the race, and we so busy. We take our money, any little money that we get, we blow it. You know what I'm saying? We blow it on foolishness. Oh, the new pair of Jordans come out. Pair of Jordans like $500. You blow your whole check. You blow your whole check to pay Nike. You know what I'm saying? Nike owned Jordans. PS5, that's 500. You know what I'm saying? All this foolish stuff that's going to expire within a week. But black people will be a brag about how much we pay for the white man stuff, and the white man get his. The funny thing about it, Brother Bakari Blue and Forecast. The funny thing about it, the white man get his shit cheap. He get his shit made in China cheap. He ain't paying nothing. But yeah, black people paying thousands of dollars for the shit that he gets for nothing. And that's what's crazy about it. But see, that's business. And that's the contract that black people sign up for. Well, you know what? Hey, he paid 5 cents to make Nikes, to make a Jordan sneaker. And he'll have you pay $400, $500 for it. That's business. Is it fair? No, I don't think it's fair. But that's in the contract. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't have to buy it. You can invest your own sneakers. You can make your own sneakers. Just like the brother, what's his name? He didn't want to do it like that. His sneakers was like $15. What's his name, Brother Bakari?
Stephen Marbury.
Stephon Marbury, yes. And see, he didn't want to do it like that. And those are some nice sneakers. I was going to get a pair, but what happened was by the time I was going to get a pair, they stopped selling them out for some reason. I don't understand. I haven't seen them anymore after that. But see, I like that. See, he wasn't about money. He was about, yeah, he was getting paid. He was getting paid. He got his own, endorsements and all that stuff. But he said that, hey, my people don't have it like that. They don't have $400, $500 to spend like that. So I'm gonna make it cheaper, and that's how it should be. You know, um, his name was popular enough. So if we think on that level, that we make it affordable for our people, make it convenient, and I guess you could call that socialism. Like I said, producing something for the people, by the people, and which it gains capital. I think things will work. I think things will be better and more easier on our lives if we study the system how it should be, how our people used to do it, and I think that's the way it go. I really think that's the way it go. But again, capitalism, we need capitalism. I think it's very important because that's how nations are built. And with that said, I'm going to end it. This is Guy Nollywood Jr. I will be doing a live tomorrow. I'll be doing 2 lives tomorrow and Saturday. I want to discuss this Joe Reagan situation. I want to discuss that, and I'm going to talk about Biden Saturday. So definitely stay tuned. All y'all welcome to come on my channel, and we can have that discussion, because I'm going to go in because there's something that it needs to be said. Some things that need to be said about that, because it's like I'm just sick and tired black people acting so shocked about it. So I'm definitely going to talk about that tomorrow. So definitely come through. And like I said, y'all welcome to come on our panel, and hopefully I'll see y'all there. But thanks a lot, Forecast, for having me. And thanks to Blue and Brother Carr for your wisdom and your knowledge. Thanks to everybody in the chat. And I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I'll put your channel in the chat, guy. And you talking about those crack pipes and stuff that he giving out?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go in on that. I'm gonna go in because I believe this guy, he's gonna restart the crack era again with that. And because they don't want, to be honest with you, the government's not hiding it no more. They're not hiding, because before it was all a conspiracy, but they letting you know this is their plan, and to destroy us. And I think that's what because it was because believe it or not, it was making the United States money. They was making all that money from black people buying that shit and selling it. And at the same time, our neighborhoods our communities were turned into a ghetto. You know what I'm saying? It destroyed mom and pop stores and all that. So for him to say that he's going to distribute that means he's going to have to. That means drugs are going to be pumped in our neighborhoods once again. So that's going to be a problem. But I'm gonna discuss that more Saturday, man. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, that's a fact, my brother. And the crack epidemic starting with Joe Biden's son first, you know what I'm saying? But and let me say this real quick before Blue go, because they made enough money to fund a small war off the drug epidemic, and then they were able to lock you up, and then they made billions of dollars locking you up for the drugs that you distributed in your community.
Facts.
And now the kids are destroyed because their families have been destroyed. And now we see young brothers young brothers that we have seen, I'll say that, come through with a messed up
It just
mentality.
it destroyed like almost two or three generations. Like
Yup,
we just now getting over that.
yup.
You
Yeah,
know.
so yeah, that's definitely a real topic, my brother. So yeah, definitely. And like MG2 said, crack pipes about to be on Amazon and the coupon code is Hunter Biden. So to get 30% off of your crack pipes and your lip balm and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, go ahead, Blue. Yeah, I appreciate it, guy. Thanks for coming through, my brother. Blue.
Yes, that was funny. And yeah, I'm glad to hear y'all and talk with y'all. And hey to everyone that is listening, that will listen in the future. Just a couple things. What I had was trying to say earlier was, and y'all might feel different ways about it because I've heard y'all speak on it before, but I've kind of grown from a certain space. I'm constantly growing, and as you grow, certain things might shift, but my foundation will never change. So, as far as how you may look at someone that is, voicing the things that we are, they may have their own struggle, story, and truth. But if they are pushing the things that we need to have out there and drawing attention and making noise in that way, we need that. You know what I mean? We need things. We need that because it's going to bring a wave of energy to everyone that needs to hear that. But then, if and what they decide to do with the funds that they make off of that, that's kind of to a certain extent their business. You know what I mean? I don't feel like they should be judged wholeheartedly on the fact that hey, they took this money and they bought themselves a house. I know you have pointed out cast about a dude named Taylor. What's that dude you be talking about a whole lot? Um, Sean, no, not Sean, light skinned dude, but it's a different dude with
Yeah,
Taylor that you
yeah,
talk
you're
about a
not
little.
talking about the white boy. I don't. Yeah, go ahead, no, Blue. I don't want to
Yeah,
say his name.
no, Tariq Nasheed, yeah, him. Um, if he is out here, putting what we need in the air, he is a black man doing that. Give him his props for that. If he decide to go ahead and do whatever he did with the money, then I don't think we should be shunning him. We got so many other people to be pointing fingers at and shunning, not our people. Just like the white people, they're not gonna put their people down, even though they know they did all the shit that they did. They're gonna stand behind them. They might talk about things behind closed doors, but in public, they on their side. So I feel like it's just a part of the distraction and a part of the us judging and wanting that person us all to be on the same mental or same ideology. You know, he he did his differently. He was able to touch the minds of the people that don't understand on certain levels. He touched that social group. So I just feel like if you got a person, brother or sister that and see is trying and trying to do the things that we need, but they got a little something else going on, or they didn't do things completely right or the way you see fit, I don't think that we need to be bringing them down publicly, pointing out those things, and focusing on those things, zooming in on them. We have other things to talk about and zoom in on. So just wanted to point out to not bring down a brother or a sister, especially if they try and they doing what we need help with. Okay. I think that is important. And then fighting smarter, not harder. Um, we have access to the internet. The internet has anything that we need to figure out. So when I remember we were talking about, creating, pushing for different holidays. There is a process in the court system for that. We don't have to parade. We don't have to protest. There is a process to push to get that done. You know what I mean? So that reduces a lot of effort because you're really filling out paperwork and submitting it, getting petitioners to sign off on your petition. That's much easier than putting in that much effort into doing those other things. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, go to the internet and type in the process for your state. It is really that simple. Um, to figure out, the best way to combat that situation. So that way you're not wasting time and wasting energy. A good saying that I like is, um, poor minds have all the excuses, rich minds have all the solutions. Anytime because when I have a lot of conversations with people about business, because I like to help someone figure out what it is they need, whatever the issue is, especially if it's business. So I'll, start talking about it and be like, so what is it that you want to do? Are you trying to, the end goal or what have you? And they'll be like, okay, I'm trying to do this. Then they'll be like, but I got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And it's like, okay, you creating all these roadblocks for yourself and you ain't even get there yet. Some things don't have to be done in an exact order. You get, when you get to that roadblock, that's when you deal with it. Deal with the things that you can do and that you can get done. And that's where you start. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the things that cost money, like fees and things like that, and permits. You can legally do a business as long as it's not one of those that have to have insurance, like being maybe a roofer, for example. You have to have insurance. You don't want to fall off the roof unless you're doing family members, but you don't have to go completely be completely legit on the paperwork unless you're making over 50,000 a year. So you're not there. Why are you worrying about struggling to do all this and this and that and paying all these fines and fees? Now you're stuck in yearly payments and you ain't even got nowhere with your business. Build your clientele first. Get the word of mouth out there. We have to be willing to share each other's information. If you know somebody that does hair, somebody that cuts hair, somebody that's selling this or that, share that. These Chinese people move one band, one sound. You know what I mean? They have a chat where they share if a promotion is going on, a discount, they will all know about it same day. Why don't we care enough about each other to help each other save $1? Do you know, Walmart has this on sale, you better go get it. I've never seen a sale like this. Like, that's the type of information if we in conversation should be sharing instead of gossiping. Stop gossiping. Gossiping is sharing negative information. That's a dead end. Can't recycle that. So please, take your time, use your time wisely. Don't let any time go without being purposeful. Time is moving very fast. I'm trying to ground myself under my timeline that I have right now on the project I'm working on, and it's just like passing. When you got something you're working on, time is gonna fly. It's gonna seem like it ain't enough time, but when you don't and there's no plan, that time gonna float past so slow. It's gonna seem like, oh, I got more time to do that. I got time to do that. No, work on your goals and set those goals. Set intermittent goals, short-term goals. And then I want to point out about gut health, because that's something that's becoming more and more acknowledged as being so important to us, aligning, communicating with our brain and actually doing what you need to do. Do you know that your gut health affects how you act, any behavior, down to being a narcissist? Your gut health affects that. So I would just do a little research into, being healthy and how that can impact the way you deal with yourself on a day-to-day basis. And we have to get on code, quote unquote, on code. I know you like to say that, Cass, but we have to create a social etiquette. Every group operates in a social etiquette. That's what Christians do. That's what every other race has their religion, quote unquote religion, is to know how to operate in a respectful manner so they can get shit done. You know, we should all know that, hey, when we see each other, if we on the same page, we speak. Because they got these people out here that they create in this multicultural race that's not on our team. You know, they actually creating them. There's some that, actually get created on just life, but they are actually creating them purposely. And they're making them fit in to where it's going to be hard to tell who's who. So there's just certain things that we should just all be on the same page with, like the word nigga. You know what I mean? There's just certain things we got to get the concept of and be on the same page. You win in numbers. We need us to be a little bit more controlled. And I mean controlling yourself as an individual. And lastly, uh, the people that are in position right now, the people that we see on TV, I'm looking at them at this point, and I'm like, if they're not being supportive of the culture, because they done signed some sort of contract, and it's really starting to be sickening, when I see them. And the fact that they are, making all this money and where it's coming from us, and they not giving back, that's not cool. That's not cool. Don't support who don't support you. So it's just watch where you spending your money, no matter how much it is. A lot of people feel like, oh, it's just, my little $10 ain't gonna make a difference. No, every one of us is going to make a difference. And we need to move fast. It's just time. It's 2022. They are trying to change people's DNA, the way we grow. It's not the world we want to live in. We have to get some sort of control on it before it's way beyond what we can control. But yeah, please please share. Don't be selfish. It's good information. It's bigger than you and me and us. It's a race war, and it's a mental war. Excuse me, a mental race. Life is a mental race. Did you not realize that? Yeah, we get older every year, but where's your mental at? What's your mental age? We are mentally kids, as a race, as a community. So it's just time to take notice. It's time to pause for a second. Let the chaos around you settle. Let the dust settle for a second. Detox. And yeah, let's get it together. Hope everybody has a good night. Weekend coming up. Stay focused. What else can you do? You know what I mean? It's a lot to get done. And yeah, thanks for coming on the live cast. Thanks for letting me come on.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Blue. And I know you.
Say something
I
right
know.
quick.
Hold on, Bukar. Hold on, Bukar. Hold up. Yeah, cause
Oh yeah, let me acknowledge Bacardi. Yeah. Hey, call me out.
yeah,
I'm
hold on, y'all. Hold on, real quick. Let me just say one thing real quick.
okay.
Because it's already late, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be a whole, we're gonna have to have this be a whole nother conversation, you know what I'm saying? But I know y'all want to say something, and let me say
How
this,
you know they want to say something?
hmm?
How you know they want to say something?
I know Bukari want to say something. Go ahead, Bukari.
No, only thing I was gonna say, when she mentioned that one guy, I have no respect for him. I don't even like to say his name, but I'm gonna say it, Tariq Nasheed. Uh, if you listen to him and you appreciate what he say, that's good. But get past the
No, I
entertainment.
don't.
What I'm saying is, like, if you get past the entertainment, the only reason I'm saying something is right, because like me and Blue, me and Forecast, right? We know your name. If he was to see your real name, he would just talk about you like a dog.
That ain't gonna bother me though. I know me. He don't know me. You know what I mean?
But see, but the
But and
thing
if
is,
that's,
right? But watch
I'm
this.
not
Let me show you something. It might not bother you, but you got to understand that the division and confusion that it
right,
causes. Yeah.
right.
So then
Agreed.
all those people that follow him just hate black people from other countries now.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, right? Because two wrongs in that area in this game we talking about it don't make it right. So for him to, I'm not gonna, I might not have, I don't have to support him, and I don't listen to him in a full. I just know I've heard certain things from certain different people, good, and then on the other end bad. And it's like, hey, if this guy, if he is supportive of black people, leave him alone. You know, if he spent money somewhere else, I don't want to badge him and talk down on him. Let's not even waste that time, is what I'm saying.
I got you. Don't waste your time worrying about him. The
Yeah,
people that gave to him,
fuck
that's
him.
their business. The people that follow him. But you know something, Blue?
Mhm.
Well, me and Forecast, we have, especially me and Guy, we are the smaller channels, right?
Mhm.
But if you go to bigger channels that talk about, because it's bigger channels like Brandon, you met him from Pan Africanism Strikes Back, that talk about what we talk about, watch how they always come around and try to interrupt.
Who come around? I'm trying to interrupt.
Those people that follow folks like Tariq.
Okay. Yeah, those the ones that we, like they're not even who we are talking about because they're part of that confusion. We don't have time to waste energy on even talking about their ass, is what I'm saying.
You know what? I agree with you wholeheartedly,
As an
and that's what we try to
individual,
do. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
like waste time to actually mention his name. Now we can talk about those folks as a group, but to actually take the time and talk about him as an individual and this and that, that's only bigging him up in a way, giving him no, not even acknowledge his name. Like talk about them as a group.
You know
Guy,
what? I absolutely agree. But we got a brother. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just say he been on the panel in the chat. Jose J. Bronze, right? He's a brother from I got a brain dead cramp. Soon as I got ready to say Cape Verde in Africa, live in the Netherlands, right? If he was to go, and he's a good brother, but they make people hate people like him because he's from somewhere else, right?
Hmm.
And that's why I really don't, but I agree with you.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
try not to mention, I try not to mention none of those groups or talk about any of those people that
Right.
just want to cause confusion. I really
Right.
do.
Yeah, because
yeah,
I'm not with them either. I hate that. But to actually give them that acknowledgement and say their name, they are all one people. You know, he don't even deserve that.
yeah, and yo, that's why I was like, yo, this needs to be a whole nother conversation. Guy, you
Um,
want to say something about that? Before we wrap up.
Um, he got the gift for gab, Tyreek Nasheed. He has a gift for gab. Um, I think it started off with great information to Hidden Colors. I bought when he first came out, I bought some of his DVDs. And I learned a lot. I mean, I learned a lot. But I think what happened was he became more on this. He had an agenda,
mhm.
and I think that's what I don't like. You trick the people because one minute you talk about Africa, you talk about how great the continent is, and all this other stuff, and talk about this great history because that's what Hidden Colors really about. Is African history. But then you shit on African people, after you make all this money.
The
And I think
celebrities
that's
that
why
they
I
want
don't
to
like,
see.
and I will never support nothing like that. And I don't think he's going to make no museum. I really don't. I just think that because I heard that he's out there buying houses with the money and stuff like that. And um, um, I don't really think he's a good businessman. I really don't. I think he just has a gift for gab, and people would donate to that. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. My cousin before he got killed. Um, he said, I remember he said that he has $1 million talk. And some people got that gift like that. Some people can make you
Right.
give money to them, and because they really good as hustling. So I don't really and I think Umar Johnson, in my opinion, is more of a businessman because he practiced what he preached. He got a school, but he just need funding by the people, by us. And I think that's what he keep the school going. If you look at these um the private schools like the Catholic schools, that's funded by the people. That's not funded. That's a private school. That's private. That's not funded by the government. So if white people could fund their own schools, I think we can fund our own schools too. Um, so I will give him credit for that. But I will never put Tariq Nasheed as this great businessman. I'm just going for me. I'm talking for me. But I think Umar Johnson would be a better example of that because he is trying to get a school going and get it operating. That's just my opinion, and I yield the mic.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, yeah, or this could be another conversation. It could be another stem off if y'all want it to be. It's up to y'all. But yo, let me say this real quick, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of stems into it. And before, like, the chat or anybody try to go in on Blue or anybody who listen later, and just because you disagree with the brother, I say this, because at the beginning I played Malcolm X and he was talking about how we have our issues and we don't need to be discussing that in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? We need to start handling our issues behind closed doors. This is what Malcolm X was saying when I first played the video. And it's crazy how all the videos I played at the beginning, it ended up leading to the show I do. But I do agree with that. And that's why I do use my channel to not particularly bash another black person. And people get it confused, like I'm saying, oh, you can't do that, or I'm against it. I'm not against it. I just particularly don't do that because so many people are doing that. It's a market that has a lot of people in it. So I just said, let me keep my lane over here. But I understand why people do it, you know what I'm saying, especially when people are scamming the people and stuff like that. Or I'm not saying anything because I haven't done enough research, but I know enough people have done enough research to say that. But I'm not saying that. But and I'm not disagreeing with the people who do say that either. I'm just saying that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, to bring it back to the topic of the show, you know what I'm saying, because people call this capitalism stuff person kid. I feel you. But yeah, as far as the title goes, because people like to say capitalism is as the devil, is dangerous, all this spooked out stuff. And at the end of the day, right, if you have a job, you cannot go to that job. We forget that the power is always with the people, but that's because the people give up the power. You know what I'm saying? But even in these systems where you say it's corrupt or they're not going to pay you or try to make you do know that you don't have to work for that person. You can say, I'm bowing out of this system. I'm going to create my own, because we forget that the power is with the people. So we can create whatever we need to create. We don't have to let other stuff determine what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, like I said, like, just to use this situation, yeah, it's like, yeah, I understand when people be like, yo, you got to warn this person, you know what I'm saying? But then there's people who's still going to do what they want to do. You can't control what somebody else does with their money. If they decide to give him money, that's on them. And if he doesn't deliver what he say, you know what I'm saying, that's on them. But the point is, like, I don't think it should be government intervention. And I'm not saying nobody's saying that, just to bring it back to the topic. I don't think it should be government intervention telling me that I can't support somebody, because there's gonna be like y'all see what, like, with Marcus Garvey, not to compare it. And again, I know I keep saying not to compare and all of that stuff, but I'm not saying Marcus Garvey is no Tariq Nasheed or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is black people will go after Marcus Garvey because he was a black leader. You know what I'm saying? They will do these things like that. You understand? And yeah, I understand what you're saying, person kid. And but yeah, like I said, like the power is always with the people. Just to bring it back to the capitalist thing, they can't force you to do something that you don't want to do. And if you don't agree with it, like if I'm on a job and they switch up my thing, like I have the ability to quit, you know what I'm saying, and go do something else. Even if it's like, raking leaves all day, you know what I'm saying? There are consequences with every decision that you make. But you know what I'm saying, don't let somebody else ever take your power, and no matter what system that you're in. And that's why I'm against socialism, because you're giving away your power, and especially communism and stuff like that. But you know um at the end of the day, like you control the power, and you can do what you want to do on your own level, you know what I'm saying? And if somebody is scamming somebody and the people are giving them, even if you warn them, that's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? But all you can do is warn the person or whatever. But it is what it is. That's a whole nother topic and a whole nother subject. But any of y'all got anything to say before we leave?
I don't.
Now we good. I'm good. Yeah, I think we pretty much said it all. So
Yeah, definitely. Yo, thank all of y'all. What'd you say, Blue?
No, I said right when you said it all.
Oh yeah,
Said it
definitely.
all.
Yo, so we gonna definitely have another one. I guess you did need the Intwa de Miller after all, Bakari. Nah, I'm just joking. But yeah, yo, thank you to everybody that came through. Person Kid, Jose, Shy Gans. I ain't never seen you before, but thanks for coming through. Jermaine, Time to Work, of course, Raw, Erica, Rashid, Lightbearer, everybody that came through, man. Thank y'all. And I appreciate all of y'all for listening, and we gonna holler at y'all next time. But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we gonna keep falling for anything.